everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. Lord Tremendous of the Tomb Kings versus Death Holy Death of the Dark Elves. That's right, my pale-skinned nemesis has decided to array his army against mine once again because apparently he's a big fan of victory. I don't know. But you know what? It's actually a pretty good battle. It's a lot of fun anyway. We had a lot of fun. So sit back, relax, and get ready to listen to the sultry sounds of my voice as I bore you through this entire match. No.
Assemble the army!
Before we get into this, take a look at the background. This is one of two sets of dice that I'm ordering. This will be a die that you can only get by playing me in a game. And as you can see, you can only get this dice by playing me in a game and losing. So the other dice will, of course, be the one that you get for beating me in a game that we play. You can only ever earn one of these dice from me in a lifetime. So if we play 8 games and you win 4 and you lose 4, you will only ever get one dice that says you were beaten by me and one dice that says that you beat me. So, yep. I like to throw a little spoiler out there because I'm teased like that, and it's what I know. Here's my list, and there's been a few changes. Some are a little bit more significant than others, and after my last battle report, how could you be surprised? My Tomb King, Bone Lord Tremendous, is still the same. He's still my General Sword of Anti-Heroes, Armor Silvered Steel, and a Dawnstone. Next up, I have my High Lich Priest, Queen Elizabeth, who's a level 4 wizard with the Staff of Sorcery and the Laura Nehekara. My hero choices, here's a different one, is a Herald, Dark Vincent. He is my BSB, he's in a chariot, he has the Sword of Striking and the Armor of Fortune. And the reason I did this is because I wanted a character in a chariot. And I also wanted to bring the BSB back because I like the idea of -1 to your crumble checks, -1 to your combat crumble checks, you know, stuff like that. Since I like constructs, having them at -2 as long as they're that 12-inch bubble is kind of neat. But I also put him in the chariot just to give him a little bit of mobility, a little bit more combat, and I wanted to give him the Sword of Striking. Well, I wanted to give him a magic weapon because I wanted him to be able to deal with all the ethereal units that I'm running into with the end times and everything like that. Ethereal units, I believe, well, I'm already seeing 100% more than I usually see, and now with every army having the ability to, you know, bring them up out of the ground, I mean, who wouldn't bring those new spirit hosts out of the ground? The models are amazing. So I figured having one more magical weapon in my army couldn't hurt, and giving him +1 to hit with Killing Blow is huge. And honestly, I kind of like the model that I did up for him. So I threw him into the list, and just to try him out, and well, you'll see how this one went. Then, of course, I have my Lich Priest, Sinister Jeffrey, who's a level 2 wizard with the Dispel Scroll and the Laura Light, and, you know, why mess with perfection? And then I have my Necrotech still, and I renamed him the Architect because I can. And he's butt naked because his entire purpose in life is twofold, actually. He gives all my constructs that 6-up regen, and I'd rather have a 6-up regen than not have it. But his main purpose in my particular army is hatred. I love having that hatred, that first round of combat with my Skeleton Warriors and my Tomb King and all that. Really useful, especially considering my dice have been on a real downward slump lately, which is kind of getting on my last good nerve. I won't lie to you. But having that hatred kind of helps mitigate that whole, you know, anti-dice love thing that I've got going on right now. So he stays in the list. Plus, I like Necrotechs, and I want him represented in my army. My core choices are pretty much the same. 58 Skeleton Warriors with full command, light armor shields. 13 Skeleton Archers with full command. 5 Skeleton... Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the Skeleton Horsemen. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. And 3 Chariots, Banner Musician, and the Banner of Eternal Flame. My special choices are a Chimerian War Sphinx with Fiery Roar, 3 Stalkers, because, I mean, how could you not absolutely love those guys? They pop up out of the ground, and even if you're initiative 10 on 6s, what armor save? And then, of course, my rare choices, I brought back the Necrolith Colossus, my Hydra Titan Nad the Protector, my Screaming Skull Catapult, and my Casket of Souls. Elves. Not a huge bunch of differences, but just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little change. A little change. And here is Death Holy Death's army list. He has his Dread Lady, Lydia Bleakflower, the bane of my nightmares. She has heavy armor, Sea Dragon Cloak, Great Weapon, Dragon Helm, Black Amulet, and Other Trickster's Shard. Then, of course, he has his Supreme Sorceress, Lydia's twin sister, Lily Bleakflower, who's a level 4 wizard. She has the Tome of Furion, the Talisman of Preservation, and she uses the lore of dark magic now because she's bipolar with the lore she uses. Her hero choices, or his hero choices, are his Master Idyr, who's a BSB with heavy armor, Sea Dragon Cloak, Sword of Might, Enchanted Shield, and a Dawnstone. He's still got his sorceress, Tessa, who's a level 2 wizard with the Dispel Scroll and the Lore of Life. And he brought in Psycho Elf, his master, Lene, with a lance, heavy armor, Sea Dragon Cloak, Shield, Dark Pegasus, and the Cloak of Twilight. His core choices are 20 Corsairs with extra hand weapon and full command, a unit of 5 Dark Riders with light armor, shields, spears, crossbows, and a musician, and 20 Witch Elves with full command and Banner of Eternal Flame. His special choices are 3 Bolt Throwers and 21 Blackguard with full command and the Razor Standard. And his rare choices are 2 units of Doomfire Warlocks, because why wouldn't you use them, right? These are my spells, and I have a boatload of them. Bunch for my level 4, bunch for my level 2, and a couple off of my, what's it called? My Hydro Titan. And here are his spells, which pretty much come from his level 4 and his level 2, which is, well, not surprising. Here's deployment, and as you can see, I've learned from my last game against Death, and I've decided to denied flank, castle, corner up, turtle, brick, whatever you want to call it, this is what I did. And obviously I have the chariots watching that left flank there so that if his Doomfire Warlocks come in there at all, they're going to get charged and hopefully blown to pieces by 3d6 Strength 4 impact hits. I have my Skeleton Warriors in the middle because I know his Blackguard and his Corsairs and his Witches are all going to come into play. I've got my War Sphinx on the right flank there just because, I've got the War Sphinx, the, what's it called? The Colossus, and my BSB Chariot on my right flank to just watch the right flank because I kind of dare anything to come in there. I know Psycho Elf is coming in. I don't know what else to do against Psycho Elf other than to just sit there and hope. And I've got my Catapult, my Casket, my Archers, and my Titan in the back because the Titan protects the Skeleton Archers, the Casket tries to kill things, and the Catapult, well, it catapults stuff. That was really the plan, and, well, you'll see how well I execute it in, 90 short slides. Here's Death's right flank, which consists of a unit of his Warlocks, his Bolt Thrower, and his Blackguard with Lydia, and I believe his level 4 Lilith in there. And here's his center, which consists of his Corsairs with his BSB and Tessa installed. Another one of his Bolt Throwers, his his Dark Riders, closest, I guess, at the bottom of the picture. And there's his Witches on the right side there. And here's his left flank, which consists of Psycho Elf, his other unit of Warlocks, and a Bolt Thrower. And here's pretty much my entire army. From right to left, there's my BSB and a Chariot, my Colossus, my War Sphinx, my Casket, my Skeleton Warriors with Necrotech and Tomb King installed, my Casket, my Archers with High and Low Priest in there, my Chariots, and of course my Hydro Titan. Here's top of 1 after movement, and I got to go first. Yay! And I didn't move a whole lot because, well, I play Tomb Kings, and I'm not going to move a whole lot. My War Sphinx did try to charge his Dark Riders, and I only did that to hopefully make them flee. I thought it would be funny. I needed a 12 to hit him. I did not roll a 12. It was stupid. It was careless. I know. It gave him a free round of shooting at my guy. I know it was dumb, but I don't know. I just want to have fun. I mean, I'm playing this army. I'm really enjoying the Tomb Kings. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just one of those things where it's like you get to play with that new toy you got, during the holidays for the first time every time. I'm really enjoying the army. I'm really enjoying the look. I really can't wait until my wife gets around to painting them all. She will. I know. There's a lot of bear models on here. We're working on that. but it's just I'm really loving the choices and everything's so new, and I love the synergy. It's just fun, and I want to have fun. So not all of my choices are going to be tactical or intelligent or competitive. Sometimes I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to do something off the cuff. And is it smart? No, but damn it, is it fun? Here's a better picture of my War Sphinx failing the charge against the Dark Riders. Of course, they didn't flee. Yes, they got the shoot. No, they didn't do anything because my kitty is made of kryptonite. During the magic phase, I'm able to get that net of amnioc or whatever off on his warlocks, which is awesome because now, in order for them to do anything, they have to take a strength check, which, you know, as elves, it gives me a good chance to do d6 strength 4 hits to them and cancel the effect. So it's like a perpetual dispel scroll for them, which I like. I wasn't aware this was going to happen when I cast it, obviously, but it was an irresistible force. I ended up rolling a miscast 7.
No! You must not read from the book!
Which ends up killing all 3 skeletons that are currently touching Sinister Jeffrey. But, you know, that's why he's sinister. He likes to, you know, use skeletons as bullet shields, and I respect him for it. During the shooting phase, my catapult takes careful aim at his bolt thrower and destroys it, which was really, really funny. His Psycho Elf did take a panic check, but he passed. He rolled like a 9. We actually had to check. Well, I had to check. He knew that he was fine, but it was still funny because that would have been great if Psycho Elf had fled off the table because a bolt thrower exploded. And then my chariots, which were in 24 inches range there, fired at his warlocks and actually plinked one. Not enough to cause a panic check, but hey, I'll take it. One less warlock is one less warlock. And Slanesh was pleased. So, with all the fun done, we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement. And there's been a little bit. As you can see, his entire left flank comes screaming around to get into my right flank. His infantry move up. Actually, the only thing that doesn't move are his bolt throwers and the netted unit of warlocks, because there was no reason for him to take that chance. During his magic phase, he gets off Soul Stealer on my warriors, and it direct hits and does a boatload of wounds. Kills 8 of my skeletons, which was insanely rude. I believe he was only able to boost up Lilith's runes by 1. I'm pretty sure that's right. But still, now she's got like 4 wounds, and it's going to be more of a pain in the ass to get past her 4 report save and kill her. So, yay. Then during the shooting phase, his bolt throwers take a bunch of multi-shots at my chariots and put 1 wound through on them because my chariots are built for tough. Then, of course, I don't know if it was his Corsairs or what it was, but something shot at my War Kitty and slipped a wound through, which actually kind of pissed me off. I don't like it when the kitty gets hurt. He is made of kryptonite, not cotton. I checked. So, after I'm done throwing my little temper tantrum, we go over here to a top of 2 after movement. And I do it again. My chariot with my BSB in it. I really wanted to see what he could do, so I tried to charge his warlocks, and I missed it by like 2 or 3 inches. I mean, it was a long shot. I think I needed a 9 or a 10. I did not obviously roll it, which was probably for the best. It really would have put my BSB out of position, and it would have been bad. The witches could have had him and stuff. It's just, I wanted him in combat. I wanted to see what he could do. So I decided to try it, and it didn't work out. You know, bet big to win big, and it's a gamble. That's why it's a gamble, and I lost it. So now my BSB is way out of position anyway, but my hope was that his Pegasus guy charges into my BSB, and then my Colossus and my Kitty can wait for him to come back on the table, or you know, charge him if he was foolish enough to not overrun. But whatever. Either way, it was what I did. But seeing that, the Kitty and the Necro Colossus back up because I don't want to be charged that easy by the little flying, you know, guy. And that's it, really. We just kind of suck up real quick and prepare for the worst. My magic phase is completely useless this turn. The only spell that almost got off was Scrolled, and the other one, I think I rolled 4 dice and rolled 4 ones or something ridiculous, and it didn't go off. So my magic phase was pretty much ended there. And my shooting phase, the catapult goes way off target, like 10 inches off target, and the rest of my shooting just fails to do anything. So we go over here to bottom of 2, and as you can see, there's been some. The warlocks that got charged by my chariot, charge chariot, and they make their charge, so that wasn't exactly the plan, but it is what it is. The rest of his stuff kind of moves around. His warlocks that were netted last turn move up behind the infantry, probably to just, murder, death, kill with their spells. His Psycho Elf pretty much just kind of moves forward a little bit so he can guarantee himself the charge next turn. The Witch Elves move up to go after the War Kitty because they're really the only ones that can deal with the War Kitty. And that's pretty much it. Here's a better picture of the Warlock slamming into my BSB chariot. And, while it wasn't ideal, I was kind of looking forward to this fight simply so I could see how well my, my BSB and the chariot would do, in really bad circumstance. And then in the magic phase over here, he gets soul stealing off on my skeleton warriors yet again. And this time he kills 7 of my skeleton warriors, which sucks a little bit, but it is what it is. What can you do? However, this time it was irresistible force through, so it really wasn't my choice, and he rolls a miscast 6. After all is said and done, she does take a wound, but she was like up 2 or 3 wounds anyway, so it didn't matter. But like 5 Blackguard die, which is epic good, because those guys are dangerous as hell, and the less I have to deal with, the better. So taking 7 wounds for 5 Blackguard, 7 skeletons for 5 Blackguard, hell, I'm about to pay a lot more than that, probably to Corsairs. So hey, okay, yeah, deal, keep doing that. Then over here during the shooting phase, once again, he shoots at my chariots, and he does much better this time. I think he puts 3 wounds through him on this time and plucks the chariot right off the base. And then we go over here into combat, and as you can see, the Warlocks do not fare well against he who is Dark Vincent. With their charge and 3 wounds to my 3 wounds and a banner, we stand there because neither of us know how to hum a tune, so it's actually a tied combat. Well, I'm actually really happy about that. He directed all of his attacks at the chariot, not my character, which I thought was rude, but at the same time, it made sense. So my character is fine. He was able to slice up 3 of the Warlocks. He's able to tie this combat when he gets charged. So far, I'm pretty happy with him. Even though, yeah, my opponent did flub, I'm still happy with him because he's doing well. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement. And, well, you're looking at it. There's not much. My War Sphinx, honestly, I knew he was dead. I knew that his stupid Psycho Elf was going to charge in. I knew that he was going to, get a hold of either my War Sphinx or my Colossus. And so I was like, screw it. I'm gonna send the War Sphinx into the Corsairs because I want to see how much damage this guy can do to the Corsairs and how much he can take before he gets mulched. I know the Witch Elves are there. I know they can see him. I know they can charge him in the flank. But I was curious. I wanted to see what the War Sphinx could really do against an elf infantry thing all by himself. And so I charged him in, and he made it. My Colossus, however, why I positioned him like that is because I was sitting on my shoulders. I know now. It's hindsight, of course. But, yeah, I should have angled him in such a way that he couldn't, when Psycho Elf charged in, he couldn't get a hold of the Colossus as easily as he was going to, and then overrun into the catapult. That was incredibly stupid, but I did it, so what can you do? My chariots, everything just kind of sweeps over to look towards the right there, my right flank, in order to hopefully get into this fight when it really comes right down to it. And then my stalkers pop up behind Psycho Elf because this is my last chance to put some wounds on this guy before he gets into combat. And yeah, if he could just be killed. I know he's got a 3-up ward, but you know what? The stalkers are friggin' amazing. So if I can throw enough 6s at him, maybe he can roll me enough 1s and 2s that he falls down or comes really close to falling down. There's a better picture of the kitty slamming into the Corsairs, and I wanted to know what he could do. He's got Thunder Stomp, he's got all those attacks, he's got Flaming Breath. I mean, Corsairs are pretty well armored. I think it's a 4-up or a 5-up armor, so it's not like they're the weakest things in the world. I just wanted to see what they could do, and I would have charged them into the Blackguard if I didn't know that Lilith and the Blackguard were going to be able to so easily just cut him to pieces. So I wanted to try it. During the magic phase, just because I'd use the incantation and desiccation on his warlocks that are in combat with my BSB, just to make it a little bit harder for them to hurt me and make it a little bit easier for my guys to hurt him if they survive long enough. Chariot's only got a wound left on it, but it was why not? It was that or the Corsairs, and the Corsairs are already wounded me on 6s, and I can wound him on 2s, so that wasn't a big deal. I thought about doing it to the Witch Elves or the what's it called? The Blackguard, but there just didn't seem to be a point. And while I did think about doing it to what's it called, Psycho Elf, when I measured it, he was actually pretty far out of range. So what can you do? Then I'm able to get the 5-up ward save bubble off on these guys right here. Not that that's a huge help, but it's something. So I'll take it. Over here in the shooting phase, my stalkers do really well. I think I fire 14 to 16 shots into Psycho Elf and 1 misfire. So I take like 1 wound onto my unit. And I roll a healthy amount of 6s. I think I roll like 6 or 7. It's actually a really over-the-top roll. But death does what death does, and he rolled enough dice where only 1 wound slipped through, which was a shame. But hey, he's a 3rd dead now, and I'll take it. Then over here in combat, Dark Vincent flubs. I swing his attacks. The chariot gets blown out from under him, and he swings his attacks, and I flub. I roll like 2 2s and a 1, so that really sucked. He needed 4 or 3s, I believe, so that wasn't great. I really wish that could have went better, but he loses by nothing because the chariot took a wound and he has a banner. Neither of us know how to hum a tune, so once again, it's a tied combat. So all in all, although it is kind of going against me now, he's not doing terrible, so I'm okay with it. Then over here in combat, the War Sphinx does better than I would have thought. He kills like 12 Corsairs all by himself. He does take 1 wound for his trouble. Of course, the Corsairs are stubborn. Of course, they're steadfast. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, they're steadfast. They stick. They don't go anywhere. I know it was a bad charge. I know people are going to rant about it in the comment section. Go right ahead. You're not wrong. And I feel good about it, though. I got to see just how much devastation he could really do against a unit of infantry like this, even semi-well armored infantry. And I don't regret it. It was a good learning experience. He killed a ton of Corsairs. And I was rolling kind of low, actually. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and it's the worst parts of the Bible. As you can see, the Psycho Elf does make it into my Colossus, and the only hope I have here is that he's not able to wound enough to kill him, so maybe my Colossus can beat the crap out of him. His Witch Elves go into the kitty, and that was obvious. And that's pretty much it. Everything else just kind of, well, his Blackguards stay put, his Dark Riders kind of fall back, and his Warlocks come back over to my left flank there to give the Chariot something to think about, I guess. During his magic phase, he gets one of the dark magic spells off that lowers your strength, initiative, weapon skill, and ballistic skill by like 1 or whatever it is, or by D3, and I think it brought it down by 1, maybe 2. But that, yeah, my skeletons are worse now. And then during his shooting phase, his bolt throwers plink off one of my stalkers, which is rude and inconsiderate as far as I'm concerned. And then, thanks to my spells, I was able to bring back one of my chariots, but he shoots at it and puts a wound on one of them, which is, again, rude and inconsiderate, and I don't like that. So in combat, what's his face? Dark Vincent. He has actually finally had enough of this combat and these filthy, filthy warlocks. He weathers all their attacks and then counterattacks and slaughters both of them. So yes, Dark Vincent took the charge. He lost his chariot for his trouble, but he did kill the warlocks in the end, and I felt really good about that. Then over here in combat, poor War Kitty. He gets obliterated. The witches are able to put the last 3 wounds through on him, and he dies. And I knew that was coming. I knew it was. It was my fault. I never should have allowed that to happen. But I got curious and stupid, and I went with curious and stupid instead of smart and forward-thinking. And it is what it is. I don't regret what I did. I just wish I had been smarter about it. Then over here, this. He, of course, he hits and wounds and kills my Colossus, no problem. And then he overruns into my catapult. And I realized that that's a stupid placement. I realized what I did was dumb, and I wish I hadn't. But I did. Death Holy Death saw the mistake and capitalized on it, as he should have. And I have no... Well, I have plenty of regrets, but pff, what are you going to do? We're still having a blast. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and yeah, I continue to make just stupid decisions here. For some reason, I got really excited and I charged the Witch Elves with my chariots, not realizing that the stupid house was going to block me. And then frustrated that the chariots failed to all get into the witches, which again, I don't know why I did this. Yeah, I charged my Tomb King out of the Unit of Skeletons into the witches, and nothing. I got nothing. I have no intelligent reason why I did that. I just had bloodlust. I wanted to see what would happen. The chariots charging the witches was really stupid. I should have just charged my skeleton warriors into their flank, dealt with them that way. At the very minimum, knocked their frenzy out of them, but it would have been great to overrun into the Corsairs and a Blackguard and have my way with them that way. But it wasn't meant to be because I'm incredibly stupid when it comes to forward thought. Again, sitting on my shoulders is the most comfortable position for me sometimes. I don't know what to tell you. But I did what I did, and I'm going to report it as I did because I did it. Meanwhile, in just a futile attempt to save my catapult and stuff like that, I send my BSB into his Pegasus Psycho Elf. Just in the off chance that my 5-0 board save stops him from actually just obliterating my BSB. Didn't really care, just figured I'd try it. Other than that, though, there wasn't a whole lot. My stalkers move around just a little bit. They were going to make their way into this combat if they could. The Titan moves in position to block the Warlocks if they were foolish enough to charge in to try to get a hold of my skeletons or whatnot. And that was pretty much that. There's a better picture of my BSB slamming into the rear of his Pegasus, and that was just, hoping against hope. And then over here, here's where I lose just all credibility. I don't know why I did this. I just wasn't thinking. Plain simple and to the point, I was having fun. I wasn't taking the game as serious as I should have. It was a friendly game. What am I talking about? We were having fun. I was trying some stuff. I wanted to see, I wanted to put my army to the test. The chariots going into Witch Elves, that was a mistake because I thought they would all fit in. I didn't realize the angle and stuff of the house until after the charge was declared and we'd already rolled it. And then I realized 2 chariots are going to hit. They're going to be really awkward. They're going to block the skeleton warriors from getting in there. It was really stupid. And without thinking, I was like, well, fine, the Tomb King's going to charge in then. And I don't know why I did that. So stupid. But I did it. And yeah. Go ahead. Say what you will. I made a mistake. It'll happen again. Don't bother. So, yeah. Oh, well, what can you do? During the magic phase, I get Net of Amniok and Shem's Burning Gaze off on the Warlocks, so they're not moving again. They're not going to be able to magic, hopefully. And, well, hopefully they're not going to move either. And then with Shem's Burning Gaze, there's only 2 of them left. So if they do charge my Titan, I should be okay. Then over here in the magic case, I'm able to get Bubble Ward off again, which is something. At least now my chariots have a chance to survive and other things. It gives my BSB, well, not my BSB, but my, what's it called, catapult a chance if, he directs attacks at him. So what can you do? Then we go over here into combat. He issues a challenge I have to accept because, it's not like the BSB can go to the back. He obliterates my VSV. He does 6 wounds to him. It's brutal. I don't make any ward saves. With all the combat res that he does, he's able to explode my catapult. And yeah, that's pretty much exactly what should have happened. It was a crapshoot. It was one of those, maybe I can make my ward saves. Sometimes that happens. And then with charge, rear, banner to his charge, maybe I can win this combat, run this pig down, and be done with him. It was a crapshoot. It was a gamble, and it didn't pay off. Then over here, yeah, stupidity is rewarded with failure. One of my chariots dies. Another one's on the brink of death. My Tomb King doesn't get hurt at all. A bunch of witches die. They're steadfast. They don't break, and they stick it out. Is anybody surprised by this? Yeah, me either. But, well. So we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and the Corsairs have decided that it's their turn to play, and they charge my Tomb King. Charge 2 or 3 ranks, banner, BSB, to pretty much nothing. And that's before he rolls to wound. So, what can you do? I was stupid, and I'm going to pay for it. Other than that, though, his his Dark Riders run over to the Stalkers to try to give them something to do. His Blackguards sit and watch because they're kind of boxed card right now, or boxed in anyway. And then his Warlocks with the net, they don't bother to move because, well, number 1, they don't have to, and number 2, they have the net on them, so it's kind of dangerous. Oh, I'm sorry, and Psycho Elf charges into my casket. Oh, there you go. There's a better picture of Psycho Elf slamming into my casket. During his shooting phase, nothing happens during his magic phase. I think I'm able to dispel it. But during his shooting phase, he's able to kill a bunch of my skeleton archers. I think like 5 of them, 3 or 5 of them. Can't remember exactly how many. But yeah, so I have a few less archers to work with now, but that's okay. And then we go into combat, and if you can believe it, he actually is able to kill my casket. And he does it with the Pegasus. His elf actually flubbed his attacks, but the Pegasus didn't and finished him off. I think he did 1 wound with the elf with his multiple wounds thing, but his Pegasus was able to put the last couple of wounds through and destroy it. So that sucks. And then my casket kablooies, and a bunch of skeletons die. I think like 4 skeletons die. What's his face? Psycho Elf dies, which is hilarious. But he got his points. He got a Colossus, he got a BSB, he got a casket, he got a catapult, and I got the Pegasus. So it only cost half my army to do it, but it worked out. And then of course I lose another chariot because that's just the way it goes. And I think that's about it. I think he hit my Titan as well, but it wasn't able to wound him, so that worked out. So could have went better. Could have went a lot better. But I got Psycho Elf. I used my face to break his hand. It was awesome. Then over here in combat, yeah, poopy. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. He beats me up pretty good. I think my Tomb King ends up in a challenge with his BSB. My Tomb King ends up taking a wound, I think. I lose this combat by 1 or 2. I think I lose it by 1. And something happens, and my Tomb King ends up with 2 wounds, and I have a chariot with 1 wound left in the end. So not great. Not great at all. So we go here to top of 5 after movement, and there's none because I've completely screwed myself with my awful charges. I forgot to reform my damn chariot because I'm just not thinking, and so I'm screwed. I know I'm screwed, and I'm grabbing at straws at this point. I know I did this to myself. I know I clutched, this bad situation of it. It was really shaping up to be a really good situation, but I'm not a quitter. I'm not a quitter, so I'm gonna keep on fighting. And that's what I do. The Stalkers turn to face the Dark Riders. I thought about charging them, and then I realized that they would probably have the advantage in combat. So I was just gonna, Care Bear stare at them with the Stalkers. The Skeleton Warriors and the Titan just kind of look around and just wait. There's really nothing else they can do. And the Skeleton Archers line themselves up to do what they do best, and that's protect the Liches. Nothing happens in my magic phase once again. And so we go into shooting, and I'm able to kill 2 of his Dark Riders and 1 of my Stalkers, which isn't really a fair trade. But it works, and the Dark Elves do panic, and they flee like 3 inches. It's not very much, but it's something at least. And then over here in combat, the inevitable happens. I lose. My Tomb King and my chariot explode, and the Elves laugh at my stupidity, which they should, because it was actually kind of funny. With all that fun said and done, we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and there's not a ton. The Witch Elves and the Warlocks, the ones that remain, charge into the Titan, looking to sweep him off the table. And then his Dark Riders do rally, and they turn to face the Stalker, which is fine. And then his Corsairs and his Blackguard line up against my Skeletons because, well, we all know what's going to happen there, right? There's a better picture of the Witch Elves and the Warlocks slamming into the Titan, and I gotta be honest, I wasn't entirely concerned about this fight. I thought my Titan would do well. He's got 3 attacks, which I was going to direct into the Warlocks, but he's got Thunderstomp, and he's Strength 6, Toughness 6. He's not a pushover. Plus, he looks cool, and, you gotta respect that. During his magic phase, once again, he messes with my skill with that miasma thing. I think he lowers everything by 1, but they're skeletons. He's going to hit me on 3s, and that's just that. He then gets Black Horror off on my Skeleton Wars, which I was really not pleased with, but he got it off irresistible, so there was nothing I could do. He misfires it, though, and it gets put on Lilith's head, which is just fantastic. It ends up not doing anything. Yeah. Not a damn thing. I think, okay, that's not entirely true. I think maybe 1 or 2 Blackguard die. That's it. That's it. It ends up deviating over towards the house, as you can see here. It doesn't do anything. It could have been huge. I mean, imagine if it had gone the other direction and bounced through the Corsairs. That would have been great. But it doesn't. It bounces completely in the right direction for him. Doesn't do anything. Kills a couple of Blackguard. Not enough to make a difference. And that's it. That's it. That was well, I mean, it was huge that it didn't hit me, but it could have done so much more for me. It could have stayed in front of me so we couldn't have charged. But well, whatever. You can't win them all, right? The resulting miscast 7 kills like 2 or 3 of the Blackguard off, and that's really about it. It's not that big of a deal. During the shooting phase, the remaining bolt throwers fire at the Stalker and finish him off, which is a shame, but what can you do? And then over here in combat, my tactics work great, actually. Not that this was really any kind of brain plan of mine. I think this was just one of the mistakes that Death made. He was not able to wound my Titan except for maybe once. My 3 attacks into the Warlocks, 2 of them got through and killed them off. And then with Thunderstomps, I was able to kill 2 of the Witch Elves. The 2 that remain with Charge and Banner to 4 wounds, he needed a 8 to stick around, and he rolled like a 3. It was ridiculous. So the Witch Elves stick, but they weren't frenzy to begin with, but they stick. And so I get a chance to smush them next turn, which I'm fine with. And I got points for Warlocks, so that was cool. So we go here to top of 6 after movement, and there really isn't any. I've got my skeletons, I've got my Titan that's in combat, and I've got my archers, so there's not a whole lot to do. I move my level 4 out of the unit of skeletons because I'm desperate, and I want a 6 dice, what's it called? The Sandstorm. I know it's only strength 4, but the hope is to put it so that it lands in front of the Blackguard so that the Blackguard can't charge next turn because they can't run over a vortex. That was the hope. I mean, it was a gamble. It was foolish. I put my what's it called? My Hierophant out there in danger. She's completely naked now, but there was no way to do it outside of the archers that wasn't going to bounce through my Skeleton Wars, which I really didn't want to do because I've taken enough templates this game. So that's why I moved him out. Other than that, everything pretty much stays where it's at because I'm screwed. Over here in combat, the Witch Elves were able to slip 2 more wounds through onto Titan, which scared the hell out of me. But luckily, with attacks and Thunderstomps, I'm able to kill off the Witch Elf. So, yay, points! But, yeah, that was something at least. During the magic phase, I was able to get the Sandstorm off, and it bounced through the Blackguard. I rolled like a 10. So it bounces through the Blackguard, and I think like 1 died, maybe. He rolled exactly what he needed to roll. I think like 1 Blackguard died, and that was it. So the one grabbing at straws thing didn't help, and we go to bottom of 6 after movement, and here they come. Blackguard, Corsairs, into the Skeleton Warriors. Not sexy. Is Dark Riders move in to try to take shots at my Hierophant, and the bolt throwers, well, the one bolt thrower that can see, it also kind of gets ready to target my Hierophant. Other than that, everything is deader in combat. There's a better picture of all the Elven infantry finally getting into combat as a team into my Skeleton Warriors, which, had I played smarter, I'd have had a lot more stuff in here ready to support this. But since I played kind of poorly, it is what it is, but we'll see what I can do. During his magic and shooting phase, nothing really happens. He's able to slip 1 wound through on the Hierophant, but it's not enough to kill him, so it's not enough to get points for him. And then we go into combat, and it is brutal. I only kill like one blackguard, but I'm able to take out like four of the Corsairs, which isn't bad. He wins this combat by like 16 or something like that. But as you can see, I have about 30 skeletons left, so I have less than that on the table after all is said and done. But it wasn't enough to crumble the unit. He didn't kill my Necrotech, so he didn't get any points on the final push. I didn't get any points either. I did try to kill his BSB, but that son of a gun is wrapped in kryptonite laced with lead. So, I did. But all in all, it was a good fight. It was a bloody, dusty fight, I guess, because I guess my skeletons don't really have blood. But the elves did, and I did get a handful of them. He did kill a lot of my skeletons, but it wasn't enough to get points, and there's the end of the game. As you can see, this game was a lot closer to my last game against Death Holy Death, and had I played intelligently as opposed to compulsory, I think I would have done a lot better. Well, I know I would have done a lot better. At one point, me and John, or I'm sorry, me and Death were even talking about it. We're like, it's looking like I might actually pull this one out, and he agreed. But in the end, I sensed victory, so I immediately had to go for defeat. But you know what? We both had a lot of fun. I do understand that the mistakes that happened were mine, and I got what I deserve. And Death didn't make any real mistakes, so, well, none that I capitalized on anyway. But you know what? It is what it is, and we'll get to the recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Banners, banners, banners. Get you some banners. Look at the banners. You are never going to be able to get better banners than this. There is no company, there is no talent scout, there is no entity on the planet that's going to get you banners better than this. Custom banners for your custom army. You want better paint scores. You want that little edge that makes your army better than the guy next to you. Sick of running, going to a tournaments and getting that paint score that's just a few points lower than the guy that literally sneezes on his army, and you can't figure out why? Get these banners and make your army really pop, really stand out. Send this guy an email, tell him what you want, and get yourself some banners. It's totally worth it. All right, guys and gals, there it is. Token Gal is back, and she's back in full operation mode of making tokens. So if you missed out before she went and got married and became Mrs. Token Gal, or however that works, this is your chance. Get your tokens now. Send her an email. Send her your monies. Get yourself some tokens. They're dirt cheap, solid gold quality. You're not going to be disappointed. Tell her Tremendous sent you. She'll probably know. But yeah, get these tokens. They're so much better than just using dice. They're so much easier to remember everything. You don't have to worry about your cards getting lost, stolen, ripped, torn, whatever. And, they're glass beads, cool high def pictures. Totally worth it. Get yourself some tokens. You won't regret it. And Unleashed Wargaming's painting services is back, guys. I took it down for a little bit while I redid the ad and added some of his newer pictures, but as you can see, he does amazing work. He's based out of the US. He does solid, quality work to all armies. I mean, you saw the pictures, you've seen the quality, you've seen the vibrant colors and the attention to detail and everything. I mean, that banner is free-handed. I mean, how are you not going to like something like that? So if you're like me, and you hate painting, but you don't have an awesome wife to do all your painting for you, give this guy an email, talk to him about what you need, and he's going to knock it out for you. You're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to be embarrassed when you play your army at, your local store, at GT's, or local GT's at your store, or however the heck you want to play. You'll have a painted army. It's going to be a beautifully painted army to your specifications. How can you go wrong? Send him an email, get your army painted, and quit embarrassing yourself. Tell him Tremendous sent you. Well, we totaled up the points because it was kind of close. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say it like that, but it was closer than our last game, so we wanted to see where the points were at. And as you could tell, I got defeated, and it was I got 944 out of him, and he got 1677 out of me. So he didn't massacre me, but it was close to a massacre. But still, it was a good game, much better than the last one. In the end, I lost my Tomb King because I'm an idiot. I lost my BSB. I lost my Chariots. I lost my War Sphinx because I was curious. I lost my Colossus. I lost my Stalkers, my Catapult, and my Casket. He ended up losing Psycho Elf, his Witch Elves, his both of his units of Warlocks, and a Bolt Thrower. So not as much, but I did a better showing this time. I made a few really terrible decisions during this game that pretty much cost me the game. Uh, I claim these. I own all of them. I know I screwed up. I know they're completely on me, and I'm ashamed. But at the same time, we had a lot of fun, so it's not like I'm crying myself to sleep or anything like that. I just weep while I use the potty. Never should have charged my TK into the flank of the witches. Still don't know what I was thinking when I did that. I could make up a lie. I could say I had some real tactical ideas or whatever. I honestly just think I wanted to charge into the flank of the witches, and that's as far as my thought process went. And if I could only send a Tomb King, then so be it. It was really stupid, and I ended up paying for it, which is exactly what should have happened. I was careless with the kitty. I know charging him into the Corsairs with the witches right there was stupid. I know this. I just couldn't stop myself. I wanted to see what he could do. It's my mother effing army, and I will do with it what I want, even if it costs me the game. But I hope I don't do stupid things like that again. But every once in a while, I get curious, and I send things into suicide missions just because I want to see what happens. Sometimes I just want to see the world burn. I should have angled my Colossus in such a way that Psycho Elf couldn't have overrun into the catapult. It would have been great to be able to fire the catapult into the witches maybe one more time. Stupid on my part. I know better than that. I don't know why I angled him that way. Just all I can say is I'm human. I make terrible decisions all the time. And sometimes I catch them on film and put them on my battle reports. My chariot charge was poorly thought out. Should have seen the ruined house and see how it was going to ruin my charge. Stupid, careless, and I paid for it. Hopefully this will be burned into my racial memory and I'll never forget and do it again. But we'll see. But even with all those mistakes, even with everything that I was doing that was just stupid, it was a much better game than the last time. It was a much better showing than my part. The Tomb King army really held up well, even with me making tons of mistakes. And you know what? I'm feeling pretty good about that. I've been tabled for doing a lot less stupid things, and I didn't get tabled this round. And I felt pretty good about that. It was a really fun game, and at one point, even Death thought I was going to win, which I probably could have, but I sense victory, and so I have to try to throw it under the bus, and I accomplished that this time. Woohoo! But you know what? I'm still really loving the army. I've got a lot more changes coming to my list soon, and Death is still a fantastic opponent, and I'm really looking forward to our rematch. So that's got to count for something, right? But yeah, guys, I know you're probably groaning and rolling your eyes at some of the things that I did, and you're right to do it. I won't lie to you. I'm not gonna try to cheat you of that. But that's gonna do it for this battle report number 161. As always, feel free to put any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints into the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.